Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the peasant producer at for the show, Proclamation News and Governments. Oh, sorry about that. Bit of a misconvenience there. Today, ladies and gents, Proclamation News and Governments, UK's front bench politics. I tackle my own debates about history, and not when I say history, I don't go too far back in history, and I do debates about throughout politics, throughout society. We look at the root of the problem, don't we? We've got all different cultures, we've got all different political movements, EDL, BLM, EDL. I know I'm not on Facebook. I was livid, very, very livid the way someone communicated about EDL. EDL was set up by Tim Nice but Dim. He's from Luton. Tim is from Luton. Tim Nice but Dim. Tommy Robinson, as we've seen, I don't know if you guys seen him in Old Bailey Court. He'd done 8 or 10 months in prison. Is Islamophobia, phobiast. He was an extremist. No, he wasn't. Well, he wasn't an extremist. Well, he was. The EDL was a bit of an extremist in the end. Oh, but he's a fascist. Very, very. I've heard, when watched um, his first debate about what happened, I sort of felt a bit sorry for him. His cousin got raped, supposedly, and made to take heroin by he's supposedly he's I don't know. He calls him he's Islamophobia. That's what he is. He's a fascist towards Islam. It's disgusting. It's appalling. I've seen him in many debates with Pierce Morgan, all over the media, writing off Muslim culture. I'm disgusted because my granddad's from Pakistan. I've got friends, a lot of friends from Pakistan. A lady on social media was trying to defend the EDL. She goes, "Oh, I know you don't know how it started. It started off in Clacton." I thought, "What are you even talking about?" I mean, I call him Tim Nice, but Dim. He's the founder of the EDL group. They tried to form a site against Muslim culture. I tried to educate this lady, but obviously Muslim coming to Britain in 1760, well before the World War One. Obviously, my always research on my research on my knowledge to make sure I'm adamant with my thoughts. Obviously, I know 2.5 million people involved in World War One. But I like to make sure I'm very on to detail with my education. I like to educate society because the society needs educating. I said to that lady, "Let's hope your doctor is not fasting when he gives you a heart operation." This lady, she's really won me up on social media. I'm trying to educate kids, the youth today, growing up in the society that we're in today, this messed up society where everyone hates everyone. These old people like this lady, and every day I'm getting debates with idiots. I mean, you get idiots from all different cultures, I know, but just this lady's going, "Oh, where'd you get your education from?" Obviously, a better place than you, because I see the best, and I see the best out of both worlds. Out of all different ethnicities, we've got doctors, we've got nurses, policemen, we're all different cultures. We're working class people. I'm sitting here, you can tell I'm not working class, but this is my day-to-day regime. This is going to be me in the full-time business eventually. Small process, slow process, may I add. But I want to get a bigger, better establishment because I deserve it. Because I've got a good understanding. I've got a good understanding. I can hold a good debate. I've written some of my own notes that I want to talk about today. Obviously, inflation, house inflation. The price can be dropping down by 15 to 25%. So I've got some good detail. Not many people in a situation to buy a house, but people that have a house and are in a chance to sell their house to get another property. I've written some information. It's all my own knowledge. Every single bit of this is my own knowledge. Um, like I say, as house pricing drop, well, new homeowners or new home occupiers looking at a sociological change. I understand. I'm studying sociological change. All these things, ideas stick in my head. And I was a builder for many years, a while back, in the summer months. So I'm quite educated. When buying a property, don't look solely at the house. Don't look solely at the house prices. Also think about the cost of repairs, damages, and insurance purposes. Look at the deeds for the house and insurance repairs, crack repairs, i.e. footings, tree expansions, pine tree or oak trees, for instance. These can, cause distress to your footings, or if no footings, it will put crack repairs down your wall. You will need crack repairs down your wall. Splits in the roof, splits in the wall, splits under the window. This is the main cause of crack repairs anyway. Look for damp, mould within the bricks and mortar. Look at the surroundings. Policing, further criminology. Things you need to think about when you're moving. Are the essentials that you need close by? Shops, amenities, schools, churches, town centres, and public transport close by the beach perhaps, or fields. Whatever you're looking for, you'll think about all these different things. Don't just go and buy in a house blind. What makes your home essential to you? Because making a change in your house, I mean, I've had so many different sociological change trying to find my inner self, trying to find who I am, and being in that certain place. It's got to be benefit as a family. It's got to benefit all of them, not just one person. Is the move for better purposes of increased occupation, which will lead to a better social outcome? If I had a chance to move next door to Parliament, I'd be gone tomorrow because I love it. I love politics. I am politics man. I'm on it day in, day out. Think about the consequence of social change for the children's sake also. Would it be better for social change to develop their education for hobbies and interests? Don't don't buy it for you. Don't don't buy for you, but make suspect. Make suspect. Don't go buying it blindfolded. No. We're gonna get move on, guys. That is my own. I've written all that my own. I've got, I'm like my own initiative, my own optimism. I'm quite widespread, but I think I don't call it selective thing. I'm just giving people ideas. It might be beneficial to some of you. I mean, some of you listeners are probably homeowners. You might think, yeah, I could do with a change. COVID-19's getting me down. We could do with a family change, something because when you're in a pandemic lockdown like this, there's nothing around you. It might make you realise I need to be somewhere where there's a park or a field, something where we can go for a walk with the kids, maybe get a dog. You might want to buy a dog now, so you can get out and do stuff rather than wind each other up indoors. It's very important, um, don't get any kind of domestics throughout the fact that our family fuel can come about these sort of times, most definitely. Thanks for listening, guys. PNG, appreciate you coming through. Do get stupid debates on social media day in, day out. I've been watching. Sometimes I don't know I watch them, but if I don't watch something, I've got nothing to speak about. So I've watched about 3 or 4 episodes of that Tommy Robinson, and the first time, if you just let it go, let it do what he had to say and leave it at that, he just took it out and beyond. He was still upset about what happened, which rightly so. Anyone's will be upset, aren't they? But you don't carry it on and start getting fascist about the whole Muslim culture. This lady was telling me on. I mean, I've studied a bit of the Quran. I don't know all of it, but I certainly know that it's not what she's telling me. She goes, "I've studied the Quran." She goes, even the Muslims think it's a Bible of fear. I was like, "What are you talking about?" I know so many really nice, respectful Muslim culture. How can you even say that? I don't know how I even didn't lose my, P's and Q's. I keep it cool. I speak nicely, fluently. I mind my ifs and buts, as you can imagine, like I used to. I'm a different man now. Revamped, reorganised. Southwood's Lowry Theatre to stage real life legal dramas as makeshift court. I wonder if I can get her for done for discrimination or breaching ASBO, cyberbullying, because I put these video posts on to influence children. Like I do a video speaking about certain situations that I see, give kids a good guidance. Why people then argue against or debate against it, I don't know. Why is it necessary? 2 theatres in the Lowry Arts Centre in Salford are being converted into makeshift courtrooms to help clear the current backlog of cases. It's one of these latest venues to be taken over as a so-called Nightingale Court by the Ministry of Justice. The arts venue will host trials in pre-temporary courtrooms during the daytimes from Mondays to Fridays. In the evenings and weekends, the venue will stage shows and opens galleries again using funds. I think this could be a great sort of day today. I keep getting pop-ups coming up. It's really not my day, but we're still going to be running on because I'm just ignore it. It's just stupid. One more little pop-up. Good to go. Go and get lost. Sorry about that. In the evenings and weekends, the venue will stage open and its galleries again use funds from the court deal. The Lowe's saw about 95% of his income disappear overnight when it shut in March, and now has now and has now low lost 16 million income. Chief Executive Julia Fawcett told BBC News. Real-life courtroom drama will subsidise socially distant performers, which wouldn't be otherwise financially viable, she said. Two shows, Six, the musical about Henry VIII's wives, and The Gruffalo, will be on the mainstream at evenings over Christmas during the day. Trials will take place in buildings too similar auditorial, the quays and the studio, as well as a conference suite. We won't be having everyone sitting in the stalls and the judge be up on the stage. We won't be like that. Forsooth said, the building also houses art galleries dedicated to the LS Lowry. Being able to enter into a partnership with the courts is absolutely key to us. Being able to begin the engagement with our audiences, to be able to put work back on the stages, to open up our galleries. Fawcett said, that will not be possible without partnership at this time. From September 28, the lowest temporary courts will not host custodial criminal cases plus civil family tribunal hearings. Pre-lockdown, the Crown Court backlog in England and Wales stood of some 37,000. It is now over 46,000. The venue approached the Ministry of Justice several months ago after realising four audiences would not be able to turn from some time, meaning we have to consider very serious the financial substantially of our organisation. Forsooth said, although it sounds unlike at the first pass, it seemed to us that the courts have need for capacity because of social distancing. We have a desire to get our buildings and programs open, and taking two challenges together allow us to begin to see the buildings reopened. The first 10 Nightingale courts were announced in July. The Lower is one of the further eight revealed on Monday. The others are York Hilton Hotel. It opens on 28th September. Middlesbrough Jury's Inn, 28th September. Chester Venue, to be continued in October. Liverpool, the same, October. Winchester Venue, to be continued, the same, in October. Chinster Venue, October. Bristol Venue, October. Meanwhile, Lowy is planning its own job retention scheme after furlough ends at the October, under which staff will have the option to stay on in reduced capacity, working only 20% of their contracts on 20% of their pre-pandemic pay. That will avoid mass redundancy, Fawcett has said. I hope you guys, while you're here listening, I know you probably are. You're listening because you're intelligent people. I call you prominent listeners because you wouldn't listen in unless you was a law-abiding citizen. You take measures. You don't want to take risks for your family's life. You've got good head on the shoulders. You're listening in. You like listening to something half-educated because I'm giving you, what I'm reading out is evidence, isn't it? Any evidence for guided law, guided life. So, we're going into level. It was in level 3 of COVID alert. We're going into level 4, next stage. Things are going to be shut down dramatically. People are breaking all measures. Local gatherings, as we've seen the protests, people acting absolutely stupid, ruining it for everyone. Swimming pools will be shut down a lot. It's going to ruin it for all of us. Like always say to you, I know all you lot probably do, wash your hands, put your mask on, not for your sake, but for others, your family, your loved ones. But these selfish people that go into the pub, they don't care about their loved ones. They don't care about me or you or the next person. They don't care about anyone but themselves. getting involved. Let's get involved. That'd be great to go on, go to a protest. We'll look really good, really clever. You know, like Tommy Robinson. This totally discriminate the whole Muslim culture. Not just the Muslims that attacked his cousin, which would have been the right thing to do. He made it a bigger, broader aspect to society. He brought the whole culture together. He's lucky he's still walking, because that is absolute. I mean, obviously, you've got a lot of good Christians, not Christians, Muslims that wishes he stayed, and they haven't took his head off because that's what they would have done if they were that way. Kind. They abide by, they come in our country, they abide by our laws, and they're respectful. So that itself speaks in volumes. Whatever happened to his cousin, we don't know the ins and outs. All we know is that Tommy Robinson got locked up. All I know is some lady was arguing against me for whatever reason I don't know. COVID lockdown from the port, Bridgend, Merthyr, Clydeville, and Bluenale Gwent. For more counties in South Wales will go into lockdown from 6 BST on Tuesday, meaning more than a quarter of the world's population will be under tighter restrictions. Merthyr, Tydefil, Bridgend, Bluenale Gwent, and Newport will have the same restrictions as Rhondda Cynon Taf. People will not be able to enter or leave those areas except for a limited number of exemptions such as work. Licensed premises like pubs will need to shut by 11 every night. People will only be able to meet others, not in their own household outdoors. Meetings with people from their extended household indoors will be banned in 4 areas. I think we're going to be right in the southeast. London, oh, looks close, but I couldn't. It's on the map. I couldn't tell you. Looks close. People won't be allowed to meet others in their own household yet. The pub will also be extended to Caerphilly County Borough, which was put under local restrictions last week. The new measures affect 431,000 people, meaning that just over 850,000 people in Wales will be under lockdown from Tuesday. Customers at the Pen and Wig pub in Newport on Monday were not convinced a pub curfew would help to control coronavirus. No, a pub curfew is not going to help coronavirus. Absolutely correct information. A pub curfew, if it's open, you might as well just keep it open and not have it open at all. The only way you can stop the spread of coronavirus in a pub is shut the goddamn thing down. Shut it down. Simple as that. Richard Woodin said the earlier closing time would encourage people to have house parties if the bars shut earlier and people just come out earlier. I came out last Saturday. I was appalled at the number of people out. The bar staff can't police it, but I don't think you can stop it. People are just going to party in their own houses. People are animals when it comes to alcohol. Let's face it. Britain is the face of alcoholism. you know, we've got pubs open in this absolute crisis. NHS are up to the neck in things already. We're going to put in extra stress on NHS workers. We ain't got enough policing for what's going on because all these stupid protests. It's ludicrous. Another customer, Rebecca James, said, I don't think there's much of a nightlife here anyway. On the weekends, it will affect people going home early, but during the weekend, everyone closes around 11 anyway. But Justin Cliff, who runs events at the pub, was concerned for us as a pub. To close at 11, it's not good. The venue runs until 1 a.m., so it's a nightlife spot rather than somewhere for pub lunch. So the options we're discussing are whether the pub closes completely or whether we just revert to doing take out food or delivery. We're going over the options, but it doesn't look good. Jack Bannister, who owns Newport Bar Breeze, said he was hoping people would make up the curfew by starting their night earlier, but feared some may stay away altogether. He said, inevitably, I think it'll be quieter. In a lot of people's eyes, there will be no point going out. And this was due to a rule of one household. Well, that's going to be impossible. The bar had shut earlier this month after customers tested. quarantine. We're doing what we are doing really well before that happened, he said. We did responsible we did the responsible thing we felt by informing our Facebook page. We had the deep clean, but always going to that stigma. That breeze had a case. Do I want to go there and catch it, even though it's not our fault? Well, the owner of the pub's fault. You should to go, look, we're not having it open. Regardless of what the breweries say, the other breweries, you've got to can't open it. I know they're run by management, other management above them. But you can't do it. You can't risk your own life. You risk your family's life. The others coming into your community. They're drunk. They don't know if they've got COVID. They're taking drugs. They don't care if they've got COVID. They're out their head. No one cares unlimited to narcotics and alcohol if they've got COVID or not. And bringing it into your business. Let's be serious. Newport Life. Which one's Newport Council leisure centres? Said it will run away people are not from the city with the expectation for elite athletes and people with specific health or mobility issues. What are the figures? On Monday, Public Health Wales (PHW) said had been further 234 cases of people with coronavirus, but no new deaths. Of these, 40 were in Rhondda, Sinon, Taff, 20 at Went, 15 in Cape 14 in Bridgend, 12 in Murphy, and 11 in Newport. In the past 7 days, the number of people with the virus per 100,000 of the population was 102.8 in Murphy, 83.3 in Rhondda, Sinon, Taff, 60.1, and in Blenheim, 53. In Cape and Bridgend, and 45 in Newport. The threshold for UK government to consider triggering quarantine conditions for people returning to countries outside the UK is 20. PHW figures showed in the week from 16 to 12 of March, when national lockdown was announced, there were 393 cases in Wales, with a case rate of 12.5 per 100 people. Last week, 14th to 20th of September, there were 921 cases and a case rate of 29.2 per 100,000 people. On Monday, speaking at Downing Street briefing, Chief Medical Officer for England, Professor Chris Whitty, said the rising case numbers can only be blamed on an increase in testing, as there was an increase of positivity of tests done. Health Minister Vaughan Gething said Monday's extension following rising COVID-19 cases in the four countries. What does the local lockdown mean? If you live one in six counties affected, rules mean you cannot visit or leave the areas affected without reasonable cause. That can include for work or work from home, for education, for buying essentials like food and medicine, to provide and receive emergency assistance. The meet to meet a legal obligation and access of received public services, to avoid injury or illness or escape risk or harm, to visit family or close friends, to restrictions. At a press conference, Mr. Gevin said he would hold an urgent meeting on Tuesday with councils, health boards and police forces. From Bridgend to the English border, it will discuss the wider regional situation and whether further measures are needed. Earlier senior UK government advisor warned a six-month problem of rising cases. Mr. Gevin said the county he could not definitely give a timescale on how long lockdown measures would be needed. He said all Wales measures may be needed to tackle the virus, but Mr. Gevin said such action may take short or of the full lockdown imposed on the 23rd of March. The call between Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Wales First Minister Mark Drakeford took place on Monday afternoon. A Welsh Government spokesperson said the pair agreed on the need to work on a four-nation basis due to discuss UK-wide measures where these were necessary. The Welsh Government, Mr. Drakeford, due to his global meeting on coronavirus, UK devolved government minister on Tuesday. Downing Street, which is also which also held calls from senior ministers from Scotland and Northern Ireland, said the Prime Minister was taking the rising infection rate very serious. He reiterated their unwavering commitment to working with the developed administrations as we continue to tackle the virus. A spokesperson said they all agreed to act with a united approach as much as possible in the days and weeks ahead tomorrow to discuss next steps for the country. What is the political reaction? Welsh Conservative Health Secretary Andrew RT. Rev Davis called for smart, hyper lockdown, lock, local lockdowns. Ministers and governments must do everything possible to avoid blanket national lockdown, as the other public health and economic impacts would be disastrous, he said. Blanket lockdowns be shutting all the schools back up, shutting the restaurants up again. We don't want this old blanket. The blanket lockdown, as they say, blanket national lockdown. His plain Timaru counterpart, Ellen Mary Jones, called for furlough to be extended to support local lockdowns. If Westminster won't extend the furlough scheme to support local lockdowns, then Welsh Government needs to look at what support they might be able to provide, she said. UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock said in Parliament the UK Government would be introduced a new legislation support payment for people on low incomes in England who could not work because they had tested positive or were asked to self-isolate. He said funding would be provided to devolved administration, so similar support could be offered to people in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Have a sit for a second. Have a little think. Have a little think. I don't know if you guys are listening. I'm not going to just keep you there thinking. How bad is this affecting your family life? Family lifestyle. You go to gym. Now, I know gyms are open, but how do you feel going to the gym? Do you feel like you need to put a COVID mask on? Do you feel like you need to wash your hands every time you touch the equipment? Christmas is going to be totally different this year. You've got fireworks displays, kids' schools. They're not going to be doing fireworks displays, but they will. But you're better off watching them at home in your TV, aren't you? To be on the safe side. Christmas is going to be out when a bonfire night. It's all going to be. It's not going to be happening. They're going to do it in all different constituencies. Don't get me wrong. They will do firework night and maybe a bonfire night. But there'll be certain people around the bonfire, and you won't be selective people, and you have to sit in the distance or in your TV, watch it on the TV. You're better off, I believe, just watching fireworks on the Thames on TV than going to the fireworks display. They're bound to be shut down. These protests and how people have been acting the last few days. It happens all the time, doesn't it? You know it does. You see on, you think, oh yeah, we've got lockdown measures on, but look at all the people arguing against it. They're just going to go and do something bizarre. They're going to do something bizarre, horrific. Always the case. Always the case. It's always the case, ladies and gents. It's a short show today, guys. I don't know how much longer. I'm gonna try and just. Oh, this is just my side of showing that I'm not all conservative. I look at all media because media, you know what media is. It's conspiracy theory. It's not really what goes on. Sometimes it is, but it's good at reading media. People like to see good and bad from all sides of politics. So I'm not being um, selective in my choice. This is about Tory. FinCEN files Tory donor Lubov Chernukin linked to $8 million. Putin ally funded. I might be. Oh yeah, Lubov Chernukin started donating to the Conservative Party in 2012. The husband of one of the Conservative Party's biggest donors was secretly funded by secretly funded by a Russian oligarch with close ties to President Putin. Lubov Churkin has given 1.7 million to the Tories, including paying to spend time with the last three prime ministers. Leaked files show her husband received 8 million, 6.1 The money initially came from a politician facing US sanctions due to his closeness to the Kremlin. Her lawyer says the donations are not tainted by Kremlin influence. A leak of bank suspicious activity reports, called the FinCEN files, and seen by BBC Panorama shows Vladimir Chernyakhin, which she sent money in 2016 from a British Virgin Islands company linked to Cinnamon Kermov. Officials at Dutch Bank in New York reported it as being among $278.5 million of transactions involving of the offshore companies. There has been an increasing focus on donations to political parties from wealthy UK-based Russians in recent years, with July's parliamentary report by the Intelligence and Security Committee referring to the possibilities they could allow people to assist Russian influence operations. Not fit and proper donors. Billionaire Mr. Kerimov is a member of the upper chamber of the Russian parliament. He has been under investigation in France over allegations of tax fraud since 2016. In 2018, he was sanctioned by the US authorities, who was targeting those that they said play a key role in advancing Russia's malign activities. Mr. Chernyakhin, 52, is a former deputy minister of the finance under Vladimir Putin, who left Russia for London in 2004 after being sacked by the president. The Cherokees and one of the UK's most prominent Russian-born couples are now both British citizens and live in London. Mr. Cherokee donations to the Conservative Party began in 2012. The majority of more than 1.5 million came after $8 million payment linked to Mr. Kerimov was made to her husband on 29th April 2016, although it is not clear if any of it cash went to the Tories. Journalist and Russia expert Edward Lucas, who gave evidence to the parliamentary inquiry to the Russian influence, told Panorama Cherokees, pleasant people, that they might be, are fit and proper people to make donations to the British political party. Mr. Lucas said he was profoundly concerned by the access that not only Lubov Cherokee but also rich Russians have the heights of the Conservative Party and the government. I mean, these Cherokees, if they're in debt and people can chase them, if they've got that much money to fly about, they're just going to get in their helicopter and go in there. No one's going to catch them. They're never going to get caught for their debts. They're never going to get caught for debts. Just face it. If you had that much money to give away, they've got loads of money to get. Probably got their own private jet. They're probably get a private jet and just fly around the country. Never going to catch them. Mr. Cherokee's donations to the Tories have given her access to figures at the top of UK's government. In return of 135,000, she was invited to a ladies' night dinner at a luxury hotel with Prime Minister Theresa May. Theresa May's cabinet in April 2019. Fourth and the 47-year-old had twice winning bids at auction for tennis matches with Boris Johnson the last in February. This year cost her 45,000. In 2014, she paid 160,000 to play tennis with Prime Minister David Cameron and London Mayor Boris Johnson. As of this year, she is the biggest female donor in British history of Tories. According to Electoral Commission records, she has given about 1.7 million in total over the past 8 years, including 335,000 between last January and July. When in 2018, Boris Johnson, the Foreign Secretary, was asked about Cherokees and the £160,000 tennis match donation, he told BBC One's Andrew Marsh show, if there is evidence of gross corruption in a way that gentleman obtain his wealth, then it's possible for our law enforcement agencies to deprive him of his wealth. But he added, all possible checks have been made and will continue to be made on donations. Property projects loans. $8 million payment of Cherokee was made by an offshore company called the Definition Services, which was controlled by Mr. Kerimov's children. The documents show their funding came from their father, and it was Mr. Kerimov who had the personal relationship with Mr. Cherokee. As Dutch Bank was processing the money, it sent questions to officials at other bank involved in the transactions. They said loan was between two parties aimed to support further immovable property projects of the borrower, and the definition was involved in real estate investments. Despite the response, Dutch Bank filed a suspicious activity report (SAR), noting the link to Mr. Kerimov and the repayment to Cherunkin. Dutch said definition was registered and banking out of high-risk jurisdictions, and the commercial purpose of the transition and the relationship between the parties cannot be determined. What do we know? What do we need to know about the Cherkin's finances? Some of Mr. Cherkin's financial affairs have been made by public as part of a long-running legal battle in Russia. Oligarchs Oleg Deriparsky over the ownership of a former industrial site in Moscow. Proceedings at the High Court London revealed he set up a trust for his wife, another trust for the benefit and of the other couple. Mr. Cherkin has been described as a former banker. She's listed as a director of four UK companies. One of them shares the same London correspondence address detailed in the bank document con- concerning the 8 million payment to her husband from Definition Services. Lawyers for the Cherokins declined to say whether Mr. Cherokin has received the $8 million, but they said Mr. Cherokin has never received money from Mr. Kerimov or company related to him, and her donations to the Conservative Party have never been tainted by Mr. Kremlin or any other influence. They added that her donations have been declared in accordance to Electoral Commission law. Lawyers of Suleiman Kerimov said he denies the allegations made in Panorama and no dealings at Mr. Shuriken whatsoever. A Conservative, par- um, a Conservative Party spokesperson said there are people of this country, Russian origin, who are British citizens and a democratic right to donate to a political party. Many have been vocal critics of Putin, and it's completely wrong and discriminatory to smear them all over the same brush. I always say that, don't tarnish someone with the same brush. Don't get judgmental on that unless you know facts. The FinCEN files is a leak of secret documents, which reveal how major banks have allowed dirty money to be moved around the world. They also expose who, how US intelligence sees the UK as a high-risk jurisdiction, and it shows it as awash with Russian cash from unexplained sources. The files were unobtained by BuzzFeed News. We shared them with the International Consortium of Legislative Journalists (ICIG) and 400 journalists around the world. The Paranormal has led research for the BBC. Bear with me, ladies and gents. We're coming up to an end. I've just got a good little speech before we go. Like I say, you know what speeches. I'm very wide. You know, I've got very what's the word? Creative mind. You know, let's just think outside the box. We're thinking away from politics, or in your political views, perhaps, or you know, your ex partners, ex relationship. I just wanted to relate with everyone. You know, see where I'm coming from. Could be anyone like your mates that you used to knock about with, your old sport friends that you used to knock about with. You know, your family orientated now. Just remember, people can always be judgmental of your past. I mean, I was suffering, you know, being alienated father, went for the mill things. People can always be judgmental of your past. People can always manipulate your presence. But remember, what's here and now in front of you. Don't give up because people made assumptions of what, of who or what you are. They don't know your conscience. They don't know your conscience. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know where you're going. They don't know where you're heading. Your conscience is, your conscience is clear in what you want to do in life, isn't it? You know where you're suffering. You know where you need to get. You've been given an an opportunity because you want to be somebody when nobody else did. Always remember this. People who manipulate you aren't anybody. They are jealous, just jealous of what you could and can be. Yes, better than them. This time is yours. Nobody's but yours. Take this to the makers and make something of yourself. Inspire, do not expire. Manipulative people, they don't inspire, they expire. The proof were made for their pudding. They already ate it in the first place. I always say haters are fans. People will always be judgmental of your life, whatever you want to do in life. If you want to be a painter, you're going to get critics about your painting, aren't you? Oh, you missed a bit. Are you laying bricks? Oh, you missed a brick. Oh, that's off level. Whatever you do in life, I was really shy as a kid, a bit scared to speak out in front of people. I wouldn't be doing this many moons ago. I wouldn't be doing this many moons ago because I thought, people used to take mickey at me at school. Speech impediment ain't a nice thing. Discrimination. You got to think. I always say think, think. You got to think. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate it. It's only a short one. I was going to try and do a 2 hour blast, but I haven't got the energy. I'll be totally honest. I went to sleep early, but I woke up at 12 o'clock by a phone call. So, yeah, I ain't got the energy. Sorry, guys. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Um, I hope, well, the person who was listening, I wish I could know who it is, but thank you so much for listening. I see there's always one person there. I don't be the same person every day, but I really appreciate you coming through supporting the show. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Take care and speak soon.